On my HomePod videos, I get people asking me which one they should go with for better sound for music and for pairing with a TV. Should they go with a single full-size HomePod for $299 or two of the HomePod Minis for $99 each? Is it worth paying more to go with a single HomePod? The short answer is yes. And if you'd like to know why, I'll share with you the pros and cons of each of these, along with my experience of using a single HomePod as a soundbar for my TV. I'll also do a little audio demo so you can see how these stack up. Before we get into each of these, let's talk about the why you would want to get either a HomePod or a pair of them. Are you buying these to listen to music? Are you buying them to pair up with a TV? What size room are you putting this in? How important is audio quality to you? For me, I could justify going with the full-size HomePod because I like to use them with some of my TVs. Like in here, I used a single one for 4 years. Now in our garage, which we converted into a little family room, we have two full-size HomePods that fill up that 20 by 25 space nicely.
Everyone defending!
I don't listen to a lot of music personally on my HomePod, so to buy this just for music, it's going to be overkill. But for movies and TV, these aren't quite enough. A big reason I like to pair up HomePods with my Apple TVs is that it's a lot less hardware. I don't need an amp. I don't need any other speakers. Since everything plugs into the Apple TV, you have a wireless solution that's clean to look at. The full-size HomePod is not that big. Now, I mentioned the price, $299 and $99. What is the difference between these? Nothing other than sound. There really isn't at this point. You have all the same smart features in there. Both of them can serve as a Thread border router for connecting up smart devices. They both can be Matter controllers, so you're all future-proof with that. There's temperature sensors built in, so you can trigger automations. It really comes down to sound, and that is it. Do you want to pay $100 more for better sound? Or if you decide to go for a pair of these, do you want to spend $400 more for better sound? The benefits of these minis is they sound better than what's in most TV speakers. The mini sounds better than pretty much any of the smaller Echoes out there. The full-size HomePod is such a balanced speaker. I don't mind spending the extra money on them because they get used daily. If I didn't use it for the TV, it would be a very overpriced smart speaker for me. So let's talk about the full-size HomePod and the sound out of it. Big difference with this is that it has the separate woofer in it and 5 tweeters. The full-size HomePod is the one that's ideal for music lovers. I think out of a small speaker, this is a very balanced sound. The HomePod's a relatively small device to have in a room as a single one as a soundbar or a pair of them. Another benefit of the full-size HomePod is Dolby Atmos and spatial audio. With those 5 tweeters around them and Apple's magic inside this thing, it gives you a virtual surround sound. Even one of them just centered up under the TV still gives a fuller sound than what you're going to get out of the TV speakers. It sounds like there's more stuff happening around you. This isn't going to compete with a real speaker surround sound setup, especially when it comes to the lower end. Now, the Mini can't do Dolby Atmos because it's one speaker, so it doesn't have the same tools to be able to bounce sound around and to trick us into thinking sound is coming from elsewhere. Another feature of the full-size HomePod is that it will self-calibrate. When you put it down, it will then calibrate itself to the room. If it's powered up and you move it to somewhere else, it will recalibrate itself for the best sound out of it. The biggest cons about the HomePod, and some of this is true about the Mini, is that, well, it's Apple and Siri, so it's very closed off from integration with other stuff. Certain services like Spotify aren't available through this, but you do have features like handoff to pass audio off. I think if you listen to music casually or you listen to podcasts or audiobooks, you might be better served by going with a Mini instead, because $299 is a lot for a speaker for just casual listening. Now let's talk about the HomePod Minis, using 2 of these to listen to music. This is going to give you a stereo pair by pairing 2 of them up. One of the benefits of that is that the speakers can be widened out to actually make the sound come from further apart. A big thing that's missing with this is the low end. It is one speaker firing down and bouncing sound out, which isn't the cleanest way to do audio, but it does sound a lot better than a TV with little bitty speakers pointing down. A nice thing about going with the Mini is you do have a lot of mounting options for this since it is so small. If you have your TV on a little cabinet, you could drop two of these in front. Perfect for a bedroom or a smaller room like my office. But again, go with one of these instead. You'll get that fuller sound out of it. I like the HomePod Minis. Pretty much all the HomePods throughout the house are Minis, except for two paired up in our garage, two full-size paired up here, and then one in our living room for listening to music. There's no way I would justify buying a bunch of full-size HomePods all throughout the house. Not with as good as something like this sounds. The Mini's great. I have one in my bathroom, so if I want to play some music or listen to an audiobook, I just hand it off to it. It's a nice balanced sound out of something this small. Now let's do a little sound comparison between the two. We're going to listen to some copyright-free music from YouTube that you've never heard of, but it'll show you the difference in the fullness and sound out of both of these.
I watch you as you drive. Do you know I'm looking? And I can't help but smile. Do you know how much I love you?
I'll play some sound from some movies so you could hear a little bit of that lower end.
Three, two, one.
Now let's talk about recommendations before I share my experience. If you're just looking for a nice little sound improvement, don't want to spend a lot of money, and you're in a smaller room, go with the HomePod Mini, especially for casual listening. You can buy a bunch of these and put them all throughout the house, and you can play music across all your different HomePods at the same time. But I wouldn't use two HomePod Minis for a bigger space. It just isn't going to fill it out as well. Now, if you listen to a lot of music, I think it's worth spending the extra money on this, especially if you're using an Apple TV and you can pair it up and take advantage of the sound with your TV. It's a little easier to justify that price. But if you don't really listen to music or care about the audio for your TV, then you're spending $600 and you probably won't notice that much of a difference. Another reason I'd go with one HomePod 2 is for that spatial audio and Dolby Atmos when watching movies and hearing that fuller sound out of it. I don't care as much when listening to music. I want that balanced sound that I get out of this, but the spatial audio side, I don't need that for the music. Here in my office, I had a single full-size HomePod 1, and I had bought a mount for it so I could mount it right under my TV. It filled out this 10 by 14 space room nicely. It was so much better than using the sound coming out of the TV. If sound quality is the most important thing for you, stick with one full-size HomePod over two of the Minis. But either way, you're not going to go wrong. Sound is subjective though, so you're going to have to take a listen for yourself. You know, try two of these out and you might be able to save yourself a bunch of money. Now, if you made it this far, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to check out the next one. Next, here's a video that will have some HomePod tips in it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And this video up here is going to tell you everything you need to get started with the HomePod. So you're on your way. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye.